Welcome back to basically continuation where we left off from the last episode, which was part 2 of episode 129 for Nick Lenz's movie review. Yeah, I had to stop because I was going out to eat. My dad decided that very moment to go out to eat. At the very moment. Now they can where we left off. Yeah, basically I explained toward the end of my last video, like who created a lot of the characters who pop up in the movie for Guardians of the Galaxy. So, they take the Infinity Stone to nowhere. And then they go inside the place and they go to the Collector's Museum. Mostly it's just Star-Lord, Gamora, and I think it's just these two. And they go through the Collector's Museum. You see Cosmo the Space Dog, one of his 2 appearances he's made. He does appear in the next film, but he does not appear in Infinity War for some reason. I don't know what happened to him. We also see Howard the Duck. Yes, Howard the Duck in his second ever live action appearance. Howard the frickin' Duck. How the heck he even got here, I have no idea. Because it's so frickin' hilarious. We also see Warlock Cocoon. Though they later kind of do something really weird with Warlock Cocoon. Yep. So they meet Televar Traveler, the Collector. Now I was like when I heard the name Collector, like, oh yes, the Collector. I know who this guy is. And I gotta admit, Benicio del Toro is almost a spitting image of how Jack Kirby first designed his character back in the 60s. Though, lately, whenever he's shown up, he's usually holding like a small, like little wine glass without a handle on it. Yeah, but he dresses in this very appearance, this flamboyant look. He's given the Infinity Stone, which he later gives sort of a backstory of the Infinity Stones, and the fact they were created by the Celestials. Yes, the Celestials make their first ever live action appearance for this very film. And then his servant decides, hey, I want this power. So he touches it and the whole museum explodes. And while this is going, apparently Drax contact the frickin' Kree just so he could beat up Ronan the Accuser. Because apparently in this version of events, what happened with Drax's family, his family was killed by frickin' Ronan the Accuser instead of Thanos. Yep. So he fights him briefly, and of course the Guardians sort of get separated, but they come back together anyways. Well, thanks to, the fact that because, Ronan gets his hands on a freaking Power Stone, he's like, he's going to freaking Xandar. So, what does Star-Lord do? Calls up John C. Reilly's character. Yeah, I think this is so like, oh my and he tells the Noah Prime is like, okay, I've got bad news. Ronan's on his way here. Yes, Ronan. Now, see, is around today. Yep. I think this is so funny. It's like, okay, how where, like we're dealing with all this other stuff, and then gets word that freaking Ronan is coming there. Oh yeah, and of course they mentioned the fact that he may have like a pot. They may have an Infinity Stone. Yeah, they mentioned that, but she kind of doesn't believe it first, but she kind of understands. But she's more concerned with Ronan coming, and the fact that of course, while this is going on, Star-Lord convinces the Ravagers to team up with the Guardians to stop Ronan. And Yondu reluctantly agrees, because even he probably agrees. Slaughtering of an entire planet is not in the best interest of the Ravagers. So, they're like, okay, fine. Oh yeah, and also the first time when the Guardians come on board Star-Lord's ship, Gamora is like, Quill, your ship smells. And of course, the ship is a freaking mess. Like, he's got clothes everywhere. It's like a grown man. It's basically kind of like basically a little kid's dream. Just leaving a mess and no having a parent basically tell you to clean yourself up. Yep. And then basically you have Star-Lord basically telling sort of, I think it's Groot and I think it's Rock says she likes me. Yeah. And of course, while they're at freaking nowhere, she's basically like kind of listening to his music, and it almost looks like they're gonna kiss, and then basically she puts a knife through her soap because they want to kiss. Yep, doesn't go much anywhere. But then they have the awesome battle of Xandar. Yeah, where you had the Ravagers basically blocking Ronin's humongous ship, which this thing is basically the size of about 20 city blocks. This damn thing is. He tries crushing it, trying to stop the Ravagers, and then here comes the Nova Corps. No, it's not people wearing helmets and flying. I was kind of hoping for that when I heard about the Nova Corps. Instead, you have people flying in ships, and they use it to block, basically. They slow down Ronin's ascent. Eventually, they have the Guardians storm aboard the ship, and of course, Star-Lord runs to the guy he ran at the beginning of the movie and say, hey, like, Star-Lord! He's like, yeah, now you know my name. But of course, it's the same guy who we met earlier. And he gets killed pretty easily. Groot basically goes on a massive killing spree in this particular scene where he's killing a bunch of Kree. Like, in a span of about 10 minutes, he wants to kill about 20 Kree. Though you can't tell people are, with the exception of one guy. Eventually they get to him. They don't exactly reveal, like, eventually the ship gets down to the planet. And while Ronan got all his power. And then, of course, then the Star-Lord challenges Ronan to a dance-off. Like, and the people of Xandar have no idea what the heck he's doing. And Gamora's like, what in the world are you doing? Now, first, basically, you have Star-Lord firing this big, humongous gun that apparently Rocket built. Yeah, Rocket made this damn thing. He fires at him, does weaken a bit, but eventually the one who does the killing blow is frickin' Drax. Yeah, he puts thing on, and eventually he kills Ronan. But I love the fact that the whole film is building up to a Footloose joke, and he doesn't get a chance to finish it at all, because he talks to Kevin Bacon several times the whole movie, and talk about Footloose. Footloose may not be as big as it probably would have been, but it's still a cult classic. I personally have never seen it, but I know the story of the film is like a guy goes to a town that apparently banned music, and basically he wants to bring music back to the town. Yeah, that's simply the gist of that story. And eventually he's killed, and of course all the Guardians are basically all given pardons for the previous crimes, and his appreciation for saving Xandar. And of course, because the ship they had was destroyed, they get a brand new ship, pretty much a replica of what they had before. Oh yeah, and Peter opens up the present he's teasing the whole movie. What side of it? Now, his tape he listens to the whole movie is the Awesome Mix, Volume 1. The third tape is Tape 2. This is Awesome Mix, Volume 2. Also, Groot sacrificed himself, though he does come back as a tiny little twig. Though he does come back as a baby Groot in the next movie. Where basically, and they go off to steal something. Yep. Also, in the Nebula, gets a chance to Gamora briefly on Ronan's ship. She apparently dies, but she is later alive. Yeah, nearly tears off her own arm just to avoid being saved by her own hated sister. And then you have post-credit scene, one of the most bizarre ones. It's a similar type of scene that we have for Thor Ragnarok. We have the Collector drinking juice with Howard the Duck. And Howard the Duck here is voiced by Seth Green. Yep, Seth Green. And you have Cosmo Space like just licking him, and you have Howard. Why would you let him lick you like that? And that's a brief scene, but it's so hilarious seeing Howard the Duck. Though he does show up in the next movie with Cosmo, but that's all you see of these two characters. Yeah, Cosmo, basically a character who was very integral to the Dan and Lenny run for Guardians of the Galaxy, and yet here. Like, I appreciate the fact that he gave him a dog and have him the spacesuit, but he's not a telepath for some reason. Maybe Gunn didn't know the fact about Cosmo. He just probably knew about Cosmo. At least he got his parents right. The fact he's associated with Nowhere, but he was Nowhere's chief of security, and the fact he speaks the Russian accent. He's a telepath. Yep. This overall is a fantastic movie, and I give the movie a 10 out of 10. It's a fun movie. No really major plot threads. The only kind of minor thing I think is a really stupid thing about the movie is that Glenn Close is contacting a representative of the Kree, asking him to denounce Ronan. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Tree is signed. Screw you. Like, Ronan's clearly gone off the rails with his insanity. And yet the Kree, the people he's part of, are doing nothing about him. The look of this won't be Ronin's only appearance in the MCU. He does return for Captain Marvel in a slightly reduced role. Yep. But the next film coming out, next film is Age of Ultron. A film that was supposed to end Phase 3, but I'll talk about that. Of course, Live Thor Dark World, it has some of the most, has the very bad behind the scenes, some behind the scenes stuff. Almost just as bad as Thor the Dark World. This one had no bad behind the scenes stuff at all. This film. No, it's not. Basically, I can tell basically by the film, the actors have a lot of fun doing this film. It was fantastic. Yep. So yeah, that's it for this particular review, and that's the last reviews for today. Tomorrow, I'm hoping to do at least just 2 movie reviews tomorrow, maybe 3. For right now, I'm just going to do the 2 reviews. Hopefully I get a chance to do them tomorrow. Well, I'll cap off Phase 2 of the MCU, okay? But see you next review. Bye.